For nearly 1,500 years, the monks of the Order of St. Benedict have left their beds hours before sunrise to welcome the new day with songs of praise. The first Christian monks went out into the North African desert. But this is a New Mexico desert, 75 miles north of Trinity, Santa Fe. A single dirt road winds 13 miles along the Chamas River, west of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, the Blood of Christ Mountains. Encircled by canyon walls rests the Benedictine Monastery of Christ in the Desert.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us
the purpose of this monastery is simply to be a place where people can touch, feel, sense, experience the divine.
As we forgive those...
Prior Philip heads this community of 24 brothers, half of them American, half from abroad. They come to chapel 7 times each day, from 4 a.m. to nightfall, to chant the psalms and songs which make up the divine office. They include a banker, a chef, a Vietnamese who was imprisoned by the communists and later fled. Real people, Prior Philip says, not saints.
This is not heaven. It's still on earth, and they're real human peoples who are sometimes angry, sometimes cranky, sometimes mean.
But only say the word.
But why be a monk? And ultimately it has to do with that I just have to be that way. I begin to grow in this type of setting in which there's a very strong focus on the inner search, on time for prayer, on reading the scriptures. The body of Christ. Amen. All right, let's go.
As a student in the 60s, Prior Philip, then named Chester Homer Lawrence, marched for civil rights and against the Vietnam War. He insists that he and his brothers have not turned their backs on the world.
It's not to run away, it's to go deeper. How do I change my heart so that I can be present in the world, but still say no to all that which is of sin, that which is of evil, that which is destructive, and say there's a power stronger than that.
It's a haven. It's a safe place. That's, I think, one of the wondrous things about it.
Tony O'Brien first visited the monastery 7 years ago after returning from Afghanistan. A Life magazine photographer, O'Brien had been arrested traveling with the Muslim guerrillas in Afghanistan's civil war. He spent 2 months in prison.
I really wanted to spend some time alone and just think about everything that had happened.
One visit turned into many more. The monks agreed to let him live with them on and off for 14 months, taking pictures for Life magazine's current edition.
There's a mystery to it. You don't know what goes on behind those walls, so to speak. They're committed to God, to a quest for God. It's a hard life. It's a very hard life. And I don't know about you, but when you look within, whew, it's scary.
O'Brien was drawn to the simple, ordinary life of the monks.
We forget that they're people. They're real. They're just like us. It's not easy for them because they're monks. They're fighting their own demons. It's based on community life. And yet each one of these men is on their separate journey. Monastic life is about putting your ego away. You lay prostrate on the ground. That's humility. That's humbling yourself in the eyes of God.
Since we who are in the flesh have Christ dwelling in us.
Any vocation is a mystery. It cannot be just analyzed very carefully of why
why we're doing what we do, but a sense of a call. And it's the same as falling in love. How do you explain it?
Brother Christian, like the rest of the monks, lives in a small cell. Most have only wood-burning stoves for heat and kerosene lamps for light. The monks personally own nothing, not even the clothes on their back. The monks believe too much isolation, however, can be destructive. So their day is a balance of communal prayer, study, and work. For centuries, monks created icons and illuminated manuscripts in a special room they call the scriptorum. At Christ in the Desert, this ancient skill has been turned into a modern business.
Change the windows, the setup properties. People have this image of monks, that they really are from a different age, and that somehow they're antique. The truth of the matter is that monks have always been involved in the best technology available. Or click OK, it'll do it.
Brother Aquinas directs the union of inner space with cyberspace. The monastery earns income by designing web pages for outside companies and institutions. It also creates its own site with information ranging from openings at the guest house to monastic spirituality. It has recorded as many as 1,000 people visiting online in a single hour.
There's nothing non-spiritual about business, because business is nothing more than cooperative work. It really becomes a spiritual act of love of God and neighbor.
When a monk joins, the understanding is he will stay for life and be buried outside the chapel. Yet some monks decide to leave, simply by walking away.
Sometimes, particularly novices, they come thinking it's going to be this ideal place, and the first time they have a conflict, they run away. But ultimately, I say that the reason is simply, I do not want to face myself. That's why most monks leave our community.
Yet many more come. A new monastery wing is under construction. 5 new students arrived several months ago. Half a dozen others are waiting to enter. Tony O'Brien thinks he knows why.
I thank you, Lord, with all my heart.
We're at a time in our lives or in our society when there's a lot of people really searching for something more than what society has to offer. And their quest is God. But in a sense, I think that's what ours is. If it's a God, if it's inner peace, whatever, that's what we're all looking for.
Is now and ever shall be, world without